June 11th, one of the world's greatest sporting events will begin, the World Cup. The World Cup is an international soccer tournament where qualifying national teams play for the country's pride as well as to be crowned world champion. Now, I am by no means a soccer fan. I think watching a sport for 90 minutes where the score is 1-0 or 0-0 is just incredibly boring. But I consider myself a World Cup fan. So today I'll discuss what some of the qualifications and what the World Cup actually is, the pride and passion that the countries have, as well as some of the athletes involved. But first, let's start with what the World Cup is. The World Cup is an international soccer tournament that takes place every 4 years, and this year it is between June 11th and July 11th. And this year, the host country changes each 4 years, and this year it is in South Africa. The qualifying process is very intense, though. FIFA separates the world into these 6 zones, and 204 countries total compete to get only 32 qualifying spots, so it's definitely very intense. Probably the most interesting aspect of the World Cup is the passion the fans have. More than 70,000 pack the stands and shout and scream their nation's national anthems, and they'll play horns, and the energy is just electric. And when a goal is scored, the fans erupt and the announcers erupt. So I'm going to show you a little video of what happened in Italy after they won the World Cup match. I'm just going to skip around. So as you can see, the country really just rallied around the national team. Like, they were running the streets, they were screaming and honking their horns. The energy was just crazy. But sometimes this passion gets a little too extreme. Like in the 1994 World Cup, Colombian soccer player Andres Escobar made an own goal, and his team ended up losing 2-1 to the U.S. Now, he was later found dead, and many people believe he was killed because of this own goal. So it just shows kind of the passion that these fans have. It's hard to believe that the World Cup has an influence on politics, but they did just that in the 2006 World Cup. The Ivory Coast had been in a civil war, and in the 2006 World Cup, they put a ceasefire in their civil war that had been going on since 2002. Bill Saporito of Time magazine stated, "The game, we are reminded, is an act of creation, not destruction. The game puts destruction and world issues and politics behind us so we can celebrate our team and pride as we go on." The World Cup is one of the few mediums where countries can see who's best without troops and diplomats, and these teams are 11-man embodiments of national pride and passion. And these 11-man embodiments are the best players in the world. These best players in the world all play in Europe because the European team is much more profitable. According to Forbes.com, an average U.S. soccer team is only $37 million in worth, but there are 5 European club teams worth at least $1 billion, and with this much more money, they can afford the better players, and that in turn affects the fans' reactions. They get much more passionate about it. ESPN actually rated the top 50 players in this year's World Cup, and only one of them is of the U.S., and that's number 50 with Landon Donovan. So the fans get much more passionate with their players because they're so much better. And in this World Cup, there are some interesting side stories, like Charlie Davies is a U.S. soccer player, and he was in a car crash on October 13th. That killed a passenger, and he's hoping to play in this World Cup. And Salvador Cabanas of Paraguay was actually shot in the head in January and is hoping to play in this World Cup. So you're probably asking, like, why should we care? Why do we care about the World Cup? Well, soccer is by far the most popular sport in the world. And when, like in Italy, when the country just erupted after they win, and it even influenced politics, it showed maybe we should care and pay attention to the World Cup for this year. So in conclusion, the World Cup is one of the most entertaining and exciting events our world has to offer. Today I've discussed what the World Cup is and some of the qualifications, the passion and pride that the countries have, as well as the athletes who play in them. So I hope on June 11th, when June 11th rolls around, we will all display patriotism and pride and cheer our respected country on to victory.